Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, the real world guy, he has said that states that don't cooperate with the mass deportation efforts could soon not receive any federal funding for their infrastructure. He tweeted this: the US Department of Transportation will not fund rogue state actors who refuse to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. And to cities that stand by while rioters destroy transportation infrastructure, don't expect a red cent from Department of Transportation either. Follow the law or forfeit the funding. So I don't know exactly what he's referring to when he says rioters destroying transportation infrastructure. Does he mean the Waymos? Because I don't think that's not a federal thing. Is he talking about the bird scooters that they threw off the bridge? I think those are private companies, dude. I know that you're not qualified for this position, but they're not torching metros as far as I know. But anyway, look, this is very loose. What qualifies as rioters destroying transportation? I don't know. But it now provides maybe an excuse that if they just want to not send funding to Chicago or New York or Austin or whatever, where we're seeing some of these protests spread, then maybe this is one way they could dial back some of that funding. Maybe it's just a baseless threat, though. They don't necessarily have to actually go through with it, Alex. What do you think about that?
Well, and this has been kind of a consistent theme that we've seen in the last few months. I mean, Donald Trump made a similar claim when he was frustrated by California's take on trans athletes, suggesting that he would basically get rid of all federal funding for the state of California, at which point Governor Newsom threatened to stop paying our federal taxes. Neither of what Trump said or Newsom said are realistic in any way. So it seemed like it got them both headlines and they both got to fight each other. But this constant sort of, if you don't, it's sort of trying to look strong and trying to look like you have leverage, but in reality, in practicality, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. As so little does these days.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more context for why this threat from Duffy is so insidious. It's not just like a random comment. It's coming right on the heels of Donald Trump talking about that we're gonna target blue cities thing. And so this is on his mind. And hey, what do you know? They found a new weapon they can use against us. And it could be significant, by the way. So let's talk about some of the numbers for just a sec. So according to The Independent, California hopefully is, but was set to receive billions in federal transportation funding as a result of the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law signed by then President Joe Biden. The state was set to get roughly $40 billion over the course of 5 years to pay for highways, bridges, airports, public transport, electric vehicle charging, and safer streets between fiscal years 2022 and 2026, according to the state's Department of Transportation. Between 2021 and 2024, the state received more than $29 billion from the federal government for transportation projects. And in terms of how the taking away of this federal funding could potentially impact California's finances, earlier this year, Gavin Newsom proposed a budget for 2025 to 2026 that included more than $170 billion in federal funding. That's more than a third of the total budget. And so, depending on how broad they want to go with this, it could be very significant and not just in the area of transportation.